we're about halfway through the NFL season. Week 9 is basically concluded. Like I said in the opener, there's one game tonight, but we're going to disregard that. All right. So AFC, one half of the NFL. We're going to go through and just recap the season so far, see how our predictions are going, and good stuff like that. So we'll start in AFC North. I think that's the first division we started with when we did the pregame predictions or preseason predictions. Lawrence, how do you think of the AFC North now? Now that we're like halfway through the season, is it where you expected each team to be? And in terms of just overall AFC division rankings, are you surprised that they are pretty much the best division in AFC?
I'm not surprised they're the best division. The team I'm surprised where they are the Browns. I mean, looking at it, like, in my opinion, the Browns shouldn't be where the Browns are, but somehow the Browns are where they at, and I got to give them their props. Yeah. I mean, they're winning games with PJ Walker and stuff like that. Props to you. The team that I'm not surprised is where they are, but the team I'm surprised around the hype of where they are is the Steelers. I don't think the Steelers so this division has 4 teams in the playoffs at the current moment.
All 4, yeah.
But that's not how it's going to go down. I mean, sorry, not sorry.
No, you're right.
The Jets and the Bills are going to find a way to sneak in there. You guys have to fight each other a little bit more. The only team in that division, as it stands at the moment, that is like guaranteed a spot, in my opinion, right now, looking at how the body of work and looking at how the team is looking right now, is the Ravens. Yeah. And the only team that I can guarantee a spot as long as certain things happen are the Bengals. And when I say certain things happen, like Joe Burrow, fucked up his finger in that last game. He had to put a heating pad on his calf because it was a little cold outside, so his calf was acting up. If for some freak incident Joe Burrow has another issue with his calf and he has to miss like three or 4 weeks,
yeah, it's over.
I don't know about Browning behind him. I don't know about Browning. So I'm not saying it's completely donezo for him, but what I am thinking is it's just going to be a lot harder than it needs to be. But you look at the Ravens right now, they don't have other than running back position, every position looks really good for them. Maybe question marks at the wide receiver position, but
for sure.
I mean, that's just going to happen to any team at a certain point in the season. No matter who they have on it, you're going to question. They just had a bad game. They had a bad day. And the last couple of weeks, they stepped up. They've done what they had to win. Browns, dude, they're so wishy-washy, especially with their quarterback. We never know how that team's going to finish out. I think you can get a few wins, but you're not going to win a season with PJ Walker. No. And then the Steelers are one more defensive injury away from absolute collapse. And I just mean absolute collapse. If TJ Watt was to hurt his shoulder and miss a few games, the season's over.
It's over. Yeah.
It's over. Because the offense is horrible. And they won't fire Canada. So with that being said, looking at the division, in my opinion, there's probably going to only be 2, and I think that's going to be the Ravens and the Bengals, and that's who I originally said was going to make it. So I think I'm doing really well at the moment. But if we're talking midseason, I'll give them their props. The Browns and the Steelers are doing what they need to get to that moment, get to there right now at this moment. But I don't trust either one of them. The Steelers especially. I kind of trust the Browns a little bit more because I still think that Browns defense, it's a little bit more effective in spots that you see less injuries happen. They have better corners. They don't have a safety out for the season, or I don't even know if Micah's out. Micah's out for a while. Mika's out for a while because he hurt his hammy. I mean, Cam Hayward basically saved you that game against the Titans coming back, because I think it would have been a different game if Henry could have been a little bit more effective for Will Levis.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you. In terms of, I think the two teams that we said we're gonna make the playoffs is looking like that's just gonna happen. Like we said earlier, all four teams right now are qualified in the playoffs with the Bengals. I think having the last wild card spot for right now. But I think my biggest takeaway is midseason. I think my predictions are going to be swapped. I think the Ravens are going to be at that 13-4 mark that I had the Bengals at, and the Bengals, because of the slow start, are probably going to be like 10-7, 11-6. I just don't see the Ravens losing they would need to lose like 5 games and then only win the last 3. Like I don't see that. I don't foresee that happening.
The best thing for the Ravens, they've already played all their division on the road.
Yeah. And then I don't foresee the Bengals only losing one more game and finishing out 13-4. Like they're probably going to lose probably 2 or 3 more. So, with that being said, for me at least, I would probably swap the 2 records, and then for the most part, I think the Steelers and the Browns are on pace to do what I said they would do. I think you're right. The Steelers are one injury away, and for me, I just feel like they just won too many. Like they got lucky. Like they had a lot of close games. They're kind of like the Vikings of last year. Like they're just winning the close games, and at some point, they're just not going to win these close games. So, with that, plus the offense just being terrible, plus George Pickens is pretty much done with the team, deleted everyone off his IG besides his like high school pictures and crap like that. So, yeah, it's not looking too good. Deontay Johnson's back. That kind of helped, but if Pickens has 1 catch for 2 yards and he starts beefing with the team, like that's just not a good sign. Their offense is already horrible. You just can't have like arguably your second best player just start the beef. We got another like AB situation going down, so we don't need that, or they don't need that in Pittsburgh. And for the Browns, you're right. The quarterbacks just one game is PJ, one game is Deshaun. They keep flip flopping. I know Deshaun hurt his shoulder. I guess he's not getting enough massages or something. But whenever PJ's in, he's just throwing the ball either short or it's just in the dirt. It just seems like he doesn't have like good chemistry with the wideouts. So that's why their offense really doesn't click all that well when he's playing. But they surprisingly have done just enough to win because their defense is pretty much just anchoring that team. So AFC North, although the teams are on pace to basically do what I said they would preseason, but this is definitely the best division in football by far.
Yep.
Moving on, we'll do, I guess, AFC South. So, what do you think about the South? Jacksonville, Texans, Colts, Titans. How do you feel about them?
I don't think the Texans are all that good. No, sorry, not the Texans. Sorry. I don't think the Colts. So, okay, break it down. Jags are kind of punching a little bit above their weight. But I think they are where they're supposed to be in terms of just the division. I think the Jags have won some games that they shouldn't have won, and I think they've lost one game they weren't supposed to lose. So I think they're right about what we thought and what they should be. Yeah. The Colts are doing a little bit better than what most believed. The Titans are being a little underwhelming, but I think for the Titans, I think their season is very much redeemable and fixable, especially the fact that the passing game is now alive. It's true. Just throwing your young quarterback on a short week against Pittsburgh's defense that can only do good apparently nowadays. I don't take anything away from the Titans against that Steelers game. I actually went to that game. I was at that game. It was so loud. Every drive he had. The Steelers did everything correctly, and they just knew we just take away DeAndre Hopkins from him. I know Joey Porter made this tweet like, "Oh, I called him out. I wanted him." Dude, you had help like every play. It was double coverage almost every other play. Don't act like you're all that high and mighty. But like
Joey Porter's not even that good.
Yeah, I mean, he got double covered every play. They knew that the only person they couldn't let beat him was Hopkins, and Hawkins still got himself some while getting double covered. So, Titans, I think the year is still redeemable for them. Colts, I think you'll win some games, but I don't think you're making it to the playoffs with Minshew. That's just how I feel, especially against that Carolina's defense that was bittered and battered. But I didn't watch the game after the second pick six, so I don't know what else happened. So I really don't. I couldn't. I'd rather shoot my head than do that. Houston and this is just going to come down to Houston and Jacksonville. Houston already has the advantage over them. Houston just needs a few good, easy wins. Houston has one of the easiest schedules the rest of the year. Jacksonville doesn't have much harder schedule either, but regardless, you really got to think with CJ Stroud being behind the pocket and the way the defense just plays.
Cooking.
The defense keeps them in games. And I think it's really clear to see if you look at the Houston, if you look at where they win and where they lose. They're 3-1 at home and they're 1-3 on the road. You can clearly tell they know how to work home field, and you can clearly tell they're just a completely different team on the road. So, I think each game only allows them to get better playing on the road, just getting a little bit more familiar. And they get to have a little bit more fan bases coming up that have a little bit less home field advantage to them. So.
Okay, yeah. Jacksonville's a little bit ahead of schedule for me. I think I had them at 9-8 going into the season. They're 6-2 right now, as you can see on the screen. Are they going to lose 6 more games? Probably not. They're probably going to be in that 11 to 12 win range. But Texans definitely are the surprise. I had them as like my second 2-win team, them and the Bears, and they've already doubled my win prediction for them. And after last game, bro, CJ just cooking, had 46 seconds to win the game, and that brother can play. He's the truth. And I'm not going to go as far as to say he should have been picked over Bryce Young, because Bryce Young he's one hell of a player, but he's kind of running for his life every single play. But
it's not even true.
Yeah, DeMarco, I think his name, what? Isn't that right? DeMarco Ryan?
Ryan. Or is it? Yeah, I think it's DeMarco Ryan.
Their head coach is a hell of a coach, defense and offense. Like, this guy is cooking. CJ's cooking. He's definitely runaway rookie of the year, at least on the offensive side. Dan Orlovsky says he's in the MVP discussion. I wouldn't go that far. He's obviously playing really well as a quarterback, but for a rookie to be as poised and as confident as he is, and with the receivers that he has, just Dell and Nico Collins, they're nothing to write home about. But obviously they're NFL athletes, but in terms of wide receiver rankings, they're not even in the top 15 probably. But the way he's just making them look, it's wow, I don't know, this kid is cooking. So shout out to him. Colts, I think the whole Anthony Richardson situation, him being out for the season, they were probably on pace to be in the playoffs, but I think now, like you said with Minshew, I don't really foresee that happening. So they probably have a few more wins left in them. I think I had them at 5-12. They'll probably exceed that. They'd probably be 7-9 or something. And then Titans, they're redeemable, but for me, I feel I don't know. I think Levis just had one good game. I don't think that he can carry them close to 500. I think they're gonna probably be the bottom of this division. I don't know the rest. I don't know the rest of the schedule, but something's just telling me yeah, this is more of a rebuilding year. If they win, it's okay, but I don't think they have enough talent to get to where they thought they were going to be. So I think I had them at 7-10. They might get there. My gut's telling me they won't, though. So I don't know. We'll see. But AFC South is somewhat competitive, but yeah, not as good as the North. So that's my 2 cents. let's move on though to the East, AFC East. We got the Dolphins, Jets, Bills, Patriots, Pats, pretty awful. And obviously, last night the Bills lost, and then the Dolphins lost in Germany, even though they were the first ones there.
Which is supposed to be the
telltale sign that you're going to win?
Yeah, if you go first, you're supposed to win. That's just the unwritten rule. I mean, what do you want to say about the Dolphins? I think the Dolphins are pretenders. A lot of their difficult schedule comes up, and I think they're going to have a rough go of it. I also believe that at one point in time, the witty funness of their coach, I guess that's the best way to put it, is going to get old. Because, I mean, it's cool to beat bad teams, but you kind of need to beat the good teams in order to, go all the way. And I kind of think that's where the Bills coach is already. Yeah, it's cool to beat the bad teams and the good teams during the regular season, but every season we just get to this point where we don't do anything. So I don't think they're going to fire him or anything, but I think this is going to be one of those years where if he doesn't do anything, he goes into the next season and he's on a hot seat because he starts the same way. I beat all these good, easy to beat teams, and I can't finish it out versus the Chiefs. In my opinion, the best team looking like in this division is still the Dolphins, just because of the lead they have.
Yeah.
But the sleeper team is the Jets. The Jets got through the hard part of their schedule. I mean, they got through the hard part of their schedule at 4-3. They're playing the Chargers now. In Charger fashion, they should come out of this game 5-3. That's just Charger fashion. That's just how Chargers play. The Chargers that's just how the Chargers charge it up. But
I agree.
Also, the Jets like to jet it up and make it harder for themselves. So,
yeah.
I mean, it could easily come down to 4-4, but still, the team is looking really good. You got to remember that AFC South beating themselves apart in order to not make it. The Chargers are so far down. The Raiders have to fight the Chiefs. I mean, the AFC is so hard. I mean, it's just so hard. And so the Jets, all you have to do is perform against teams in your division one more time and beat some easier teams you have left on your schedule to make the playoffs. The South, so the North can't have 4. They're not going to get 4.
That's not happening. Yeah, it's not happening.
They can have 2 or 3, but if they have 2, that leaves 2 spots open for the wild cards. Because no offense, Jets, even if you do have a good season the rest of the year, there's still no way you win the division. I don't know how it can happen, but I just don't believe it at all. I still believe you have a chance to make the playoffs, and I think that's just what the NFL script is written for, so that way, Aaron Rodgers can come back. You can pretty much write off the Patriots, but don't let the Patriots write off get you all giddy and excited. Because the Patriots are still going to win 3 to 4 more games this season, and they're going to beat good teams. And we're going to get pissed off each time they do it because we think they suck. This is Bill Belichick. He's just going to beat a really good team, and we're going to go, why the heck is that team losing to these crappy-ass Patriots? And then you're going to remember at the end of the day, it's Belichick.
Yeah, I agree. In terms of the Dolphins, I think you're right. They're 2-1 in the division. And record-wise, they're just so far ahead. It seems hard pressed to not see them winning that division unless they just fall apart somehow. And the only way that's happening is if Tua or Tyreek goes down, which, maybe Tua. We've seen it happen before, but, he seems pretty durable this season, and he's avoided taking a lot of hits, so probably rule that out. Jets, I think you're right. They just got to win out. They got to beat the easy teams. If you lose to the hard teams, it's okay. That's what we expect. There's no harm in that. You won the one in the division. You're in a decent spot. You just gotta win the games you're supposed to win and stop making it difficult for yourself when you do win, because defense is too good and Zach Wilson's just good enough to win you most games. So don't make it too hard for yourself. 3-game win streak, as you can see on the screen. Bills, what's there to say? I already said it in the last segment. They're one player away on defense from really falling apart. Josh Allen looked like himself, and then he doesn't look like himself. I don't know where he stands. The coach, Sean McDermott, he's probably gonna be in the hot seat if they don't make the playoffs. And even if they do, if he loses one game, like you said, he's probably in a really hot seat. Then the Pats, bro, they're just bad. Like, I don't know if it's Bill. I don't know if this is his last year, but it might be his last year in New England. All the rumors about him potentially getting traded somewhere. I don't put too much stock in it. I don't know about you, but I don't put too much stock in it. But I definitely can see Robert Kraft saying, all right, it's been about 3 years. You haven't done a damn thing about this man, Brady. Your personnel decisions, choices just have not been good. I need to hire somebody for that job. And he's going to say, the fuck you do, I'm out. So that's what I think. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I just think he gets removed from GM. I don't think he gets removed from coach.
Yeah, but do you think he would want to give up that control? I think that's like where he draws the line. Like, I think he needs consolidation of power,
No, I think what happens is your pretty boy McDaniels comes back as GM or some stupid crap.
Oh Lord.
Just something stupid. He convinced. He's like, okay, I'll give up GM duties, but I want to be able to pick what GM comes in, or I want like certain say what GM comes in, and Robert Kraft's gonna honor it because he did win him
6
collector of Super Bowls, so he's gonna let him honor it, and he's gonna say, I want someone like McDaniels to be the coach or to be the general manager. I don't know if McDaniels would do that or not, but he kind of seems like the kind of guy that might like to sit up in an office and build a team, and then kind of like, I'm not going to say kind of like build himself around Belichick, like he's done his whole career. And Robert Kraft's probably going to have a soft spot for him, and then they're going to take him, and then you'll see what happens from there. Maybe just a different pair of eyes. I mean, maybe Josh McDaniels can't be but so bad picking up offensive talent, because it's not defense that's hurting this team. It's just offense. And McDaniels might not be able to coach a team, but he sure as hell can draw up some plays to make things happen, because he did it to win so many Super Bowls, and he did it to, make bad players look good with Brady. We still will love to believe that it was almost all Brady, but there's still other things that play a role.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it also is kind of clear to me that, I wouldn't also put everything on Brady for that Bucs awesome run to the Super Bowl. Like,
they caught a lot of breaks.
And to be fair to you, Bruce Arians was the coach, and Bruce Arians made multiple runs with the Cardinals, as bad as an organization as they are. And Bruce Arians has won Super Bowls in the past as an assistant to the head coach.
Yep.
But assistant to the head coach is still a pretty high honor. So, I mean, it was pretty clear that once Bruce Arians left the team and Brady stayed one more year, it was pretty bad that next year. So you can also say it was a decline of Brady, but it was also a decline of coaching. Brady didn't get prepared for games as well because he didn't have that coach preparing him for that game.
I agree.
But also, I still think McDaniels is pretty bad. So,
yeah, hopefully he enjoys his $40 million left that's owed to him. Hopefully he doesn't get back into coaching. He needs to stay the hell away from coaching for a while. Go enjoy your $40 million.
Yeah.
In terms of records in this division, I had the Bills at 12-5. At this point, I don't foresee that happening. They don't look too good, so they probably won't win the division. The Jets, I think, have a shot to win the division if somehow the Dolphins kind of break down, but had them at 11-6. They might get there. Patriots obviously won't be at the 9-8 that I said they were, because they almost lost 8 games already. And Dolphins at 9-8. Yeah, the Dolphins are probably going to get to that 12-5 win, somewhere in that range. So my predictions for the division are kind of just in the gutter for this one. So moving on, the last division to cover tonight, we got the West, the Chiefs, the Raiders, the Chargers, the Broncos. What are your takeaways halfway through?
Well, I thought the Chiefs were going to have a struggle to make the playoffs. I can tell you that ever since T Swizzy and Travis Kelce started dating, it was very clear to most people in the world that was never going to happen.
The script.
The way that the NFL just prays and plays off of the freaking Taylor Swift drama. It's absolutely sickening, and I hate watching it week to week. It's just pathetic.
Yeah, it's overdone. It's overdone.
It's just very clear the Chiefs are probably going to the Super Bowl because they got to make sure that they get their money's worth from her.
Persuaded did during the halftime show with Usher, or maybe do it next year. Like it's all a ploy, bro.
Yeah, it's not even. It's like this fact that it's like so easy to tell too.
They have a spot for the cameraman so they know where she is at all times, and they always zoom in on her at every Kelce catch or touchdown. It's just,
Yeah, so, I mean, that's the biggest thing for me is the fact it's so ugly to watch. And I think it just goes back to that Broncos game in which it was very, very clear. And don't get me started. Like the Chiefs get a lot of penalties. They do.
Yeah.
But they get stupid penalties called on them. Like there's just players and guys just doing absolutely dumb stuff that you shouldn't just do in a game. But if like the refs don't call it, it's going to look bad. But then the Chiefs also benefit from getting stupid penalties called on the other team that should never be called, but because they need to make sure the Chiefs win the game. Like when Patrick Mahomes fumbled the ball, and then they were like, "Whoa!" They were illegally touching down the field, and then they look back at the play, and all the both commentators are like, "Well, he kind of just ran right into him. He didn't really illegally touch him. He got trucked." But okay, and then immediately throws an interception.
Yeah.
And then Patrick Mahomes is looking to the refs for like a roughing the passer, and like the Broncos guy just pushed him to the ground, like pushed him to the ground. It's like, dude, you can't be bailed out multiple times. The ref at that point is just saying, "I can't help you, man. I just bailed you out. I can't bail you out again."
Again. So
I don't know, man. It just pisses me off, dude. I'm tired of watching the Chiefs, man. I'm tired of watching the Chiefs. They're that team this year that everyone's going to watch them, and we're all going to say, dude, we're just tired of watching the Chiefs. Because it's always something stupid and bogus every week. Always got to shine the light on those Chiefs. It's just worn out, man. It's worn out.
Yeah, I'm sorry to say, but I think the script, like, I hate saying this is the NFL's rigged or whatever. It's probably not rigged, but it's definitely heavily skewed to whoever, they want to see perform the best and whoever they want to see win. And it's obvious that the Chiefs are just the biggest draw right now, the biggest kind of card they have in their back pocket. So, of course, they're going to, they're just going to lean that way. They've definitely won games that they should have lost. They got calls that they shouldn't have gotten. I mean, if we go back all the way to the Super Bowl, no, forget that. If you go back to the AFC Championship game, bro, they getting calls they shouldn't have gotten. They're not getting called on fouls that should have been called. It's obvious that there's there's something in play here. So I hate to be that guy, but it's pretty obvious, like you said. Them at 7-2 doesn't surprise me.
Pretty obvious.
We both thought that this is going to be a down year, and it has been. If you look at the offense, it's just not clicking. They scored 14 points in one half. The defense scored 7 off of a lucky fumble, lateral, recovery thing. The offenses look bad all season, even with Kelsey, being. I mean, he's pretty much healthy. I mean, I don't think he's really has anything ailing him right now. So, in my eyes, he looks healthy. Maybe not. I don't know. But the wideouts, they don't look good, or they're inconsistent. Maybe one half or one quarter, they look like, wow, these guys are actually coming along. And then the next half or next 2 or 3 quarters is like, what the hell is Mahomes have to work with? Like, this is just atrocious. So, I don't know. With all the offensive woes, even though the defense is really good, they should be worse. And I had them at 11-6. They're ahead of schedule. Knowing the NFL, they're probably going to finish like 14-3 or 13-4. Like, they're ahead of schedule. In terms of the other teams in the division, I had the Broncos at 5-12. They're on schedule. Raiders 8-9. They're on schedule. They're probably going to finish most likely at 8-9. Chargers 10-7. I'm not sold on the Chargers. I think they're bad, and they keep as always they lose one of their receivers. It's either Keenan Allen or Mike Williams. This year's Mike Williams. He's out. They drafted the kid, Quentin Johnston or whatever his name is. He's okay, but he's a rookie. You can't ask too much of him. He's no Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson. He's not that type of receiver yet. So
Joshua Palmer's is already out,
and Palmer is hurt. So we're leaning on Eckler, and Eckler's not really running the ball that well this year. He's still kind of effective in the pass game, but in terms of running, he hasn't been that good. And overall, they're just not really a run first team. So I'm not believing in the Chargers. To me, I think they missed the playoffs. That's just my 2 cents.
I agree.
Now, this will be the last thing, but in terms of overall AFC rankings, are you surprised? Hello there, and welcome to the MTL Sports Podcast. Thank you for watching this video clip of one of our most recent episodes. Please drop a like, drop a comment in the comment section below, and also please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and also hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with the most recent MTL Sports Podcast content. For those that don't know, we are also available on Spotify for those who listen audio only. Once again, thank you so much, and this is the MTL Sports Podcast.